I want to read from a very interesting history book that I was able to pick up from the library. They were getting rid of it. And I was there at that right moment in time. You know how that goes. And I want to read this section of it about Reverend Martin Niemoller. And I first became aware of him just a few years ago, actually, and I heard a quote spoken publicly at a rally during the COVID pandemic. And it was different than what it actually was. There was some, in some ways, slightly different things to the quote. But it really sheds the light on, kind of where our culture even is now, not going into more detail. And you'll know what I mean when I share this excerpt here from this book. This was written by George J. Fries, a student in the author Joseph Adler, his history class in 1988, and he had the opportunity to meet Martin Niemoller. And he was a retired man with a variety of different experiences, and he had served in World War II in Australia, et cetera, and he had met actually Martin Niemoller at one point. And this is some details about Niemoller. He actually lived until the 80s, so he was involved in the anti-war movements of the 60s, so etc. So let me just get into this. During the anti-democratic period of McCarthyism in the 1950s, Judge Learned Hand from the New York State Supreme Court witnessed, along with the whole American society, extreme abuse of government over people. People were imprisoned and lost their jobs because they had ideas the people in power did not agree with. Judge Hand said, "Liberty lies in the hearts of men and women. When it dies there, no constitution, no law, no court can save it. No constitution, no law, no court can even do much to help it." End quote. And in Nazi Germany, when Adolf Hitler was elected into office in a democratic Germany, in 1933, he suspended democratic safeguards and began a reign of terror against people in his society and eventually all through Europe. Martin Niemoller, during World War I, was a submarine commander. After the war, he studied to become a Protestant theologian. When the Nazis came to power, he eventually was imprisoned in concentration camps for speaking out against their policies. When he was rescued by Allied forces in 1945, he was asked to describe what happened in Germany. In a short reply, Pastor Martin Niemoller said this: "In Germany, they first came for the communists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't speak up because I was a Protestant. Then they came for me, and by that time, no one was left to speak up." And the quote that I heard mentioned publicly a few years ago at a rally in Santa Monica during the COVID pandemic was related to free speech, but the first part of it didn't mention communism. It mentioned socialism. So there is this disconnect. People in this society, maybe they're more right-leaning or whatever, they don't understand a lot of the original meanings of these words and how they were connected and how they weren't the same meanings. And there really is a tremendous need for political education, as I see it, as well as a tremendous need for some kind of sense of spiritual morality and even actual inspiration. I think we need a new renaissance, but that's a whole nother topic. But I thought this is a very interesting segment from this unique history book that interprets history with songs and autobiographical narration. And I'll share more of that as time goes on.